Greetings, Wandering Beekeeper here. Welcome to Mercury, where it is morning and 230 degrees and already climbing. Galaxy Space chose to give Mercury rotation and an actual day-night cycle. So during the day, the temperature soars to about 450. And at night goes down to about minus 160. For Americans, that's a high of 800 and a low of minus 250, more or less. Venus was insidious. Mercury is very overt. It is a hostile environment, and if you survive here, it's through hard work and a bit of luck. A lot of luck, actually. This is an electric arc furnace, which is a really quite amazing device. Pull this ore out of it. Nickel ore being the main reason why we are here on Mercury. Anybody would come here. It processes twice as fast as a regular furnace. Maybe faster than a blast furnace. It gives you 2 ingots for every block of ore. I really can't emphasize that enough. It gives you 2 ingots for every block of ore. So we're quarrying. Because of course we are. Because we've got to do something to justify being here. As obnoxious as this place is. I mean, really. Temperature control in the base is dependent upon atmospheric control. Through here into a sealed environment. There we go. If the oxygen sealer quits during the day and your suit is open, the very first breath of superheated air that you take will incinerate your lungs. As soon as that heat hits, the top inch or so of your body will be sizzling away like bacon on a hot griddle. It's brutal and it's quick. The barbecue will be over in 1 quick second. At night, suit failure at midnight, and you are cryogenically preserved for future generations. Frozen so fast. We are up here at the entrance. There is Atmo here for suit maintenance, although it is risky to open your suit at any point. It remains risky. There is no such thing as a safe area. The heat and cold control, the temperature control, cuts out immediately. The switch from 20 degrees C to whatever it is outside is instantaneous. The thermal stresses should have reduced Mercury to a ball of fine powder long ago. The heat is instantaneous. Oh, bother. Where do I have a zombie? Not in any of the rooms, because I know they're all well lit. It's got to be a cave nearby or something. We'll look for it later. So the stairs come down to a main hallway. This is a very industrial hallway. You're used to that by now. There's always a tangle of cables. pipes, wires. Let's start over here at Reactor. The usual 5x5 reactor. Standard auto workbench here. Converting the cyanide waste into plutonium that can be used for fuel. Electric furnace is a standard one, used mainly for cooking tofu. None of the tofu meat substitutes in Harvestcraft will cook in the microwave or the oven for Mr. Crayfish. And so to cook those items, they have to be brought down here to the reactor room and put through the electric furnace. Because I'm not going to run a charcoal furnace indoors. I mean, come on. Got enough problems with life support already. Next door is ME Systems. This should be familiar to anybody who's watched the video series thus far. There's the large drive array back there, giving us more storage and object types than we'll ever possibly need. Auto-crafting cuboids and molecular assembler arrays. We have a total of 16 interfaces. Terminal here so that we can check the grid, see how things are going. Each cable is a separate subnet, effectively, with its own set of 32 channels or addresses. The purple cable is a special run because the red cable ran out of channels just as I was getting to the end of the residential section. I was rather put out by that. You can actually see how many channels are in use by the number of stripes on the side. This cable here is fully utilized. All 32 channels are in use. 16 are going here and 16 are going here. And you can see the channel count dropping off as we go out toward the end. This one isn't showing a lack of channels, but trust me, it's there. It's just not showing at that particular segment. Okay, up past the reactor, we have the Life Sciences section. Life Sciences Chamber 1 with base crops. We have coconuts, and we have avocados. I've had much better luck here growing the Harvestcraft fruit trees than anywhere else. Let's get our bee swapped out. Got the apiaries attached directly to the trees now with more efficient design, better use of space. Of course, we have a presser. Let's get that restarted to get this silken tofu turned into firm tofu, which is what we need to make the various fake meat, and it also gives us soy milk. Plenty of soybeans here. Wheat, corn. You'll find this is a slightly different makeup on the station, apparently. Corn, coffee, tea, tomatoes, and onions, because those are staples, and then potatoes going crisscross. Let's move on to... Here's Chamber 2, the extended crops. This is where most of the Harvestcraft crops are growing. We have tamarindo, we have cashews, we have more bees. Bees are important for pollination as well as for producing honey and wax. Not important for pollination in the game, but important for pollination in real life, and I try to keep this in mind. We are running a simulation here, after all. Room 3 has a lot of bare dirt because we haven't had a lot of ground crops that needed to be planted. The mushrooms that got skipped because they are from spores, not from seed. The carrots that got skipped because they don't have seeds at all. Yeah. ended up here. And then the last few items out of the Harvestcraft catalog. We have oranges. Able to harvest. We're growing a lot of cacao here. And lime. Reasons for this. And we have pumpkins and melons. Let's pause mode to this, and this into the grid. Oops. Get launched into the air. And we'll head down toward the other sector. Ran into a cave here, which is why this slopes down. Rather oddly. We're now in residential, and so we have carpet. A little more effort to make it more comfortable. Let's stop at the galley first. It's still a corporate break room, but we've done what we can with it. If nothing else, we have a massive video entertainment area, so, you know, no need to have a LAN party. You can do multi-screen gaming here. Everybody in the same room. There's a carrot cake set out. Some cookies. A microwave that won't cook the tofu. And again, it has seemed like a better idea to put the patterning and interface terminals in the galley, because that's where most of the auto crafting is for. And we do a little auto crafting for other stuff, string and such, but it's mostly for food. So yes, everything in here, these are the molecular assemblers, and these are the patterns that have been loaded into the arrays. Again, that those assembler arrays, those assembler interfaces can then feed out. Quite a lot. Automated. Salsa has been automated, for example, and so has the street taco. Pattern terminal where we create the patterns that go over here so that things can be auto-created. So let's get a cup of coffee. Get a cup for me and a cup for you. Next, tells me that beans are available, tools are available. Hit the go button, and we have coffee. Pretty simple, but then you get into things like making salsa, which, let's make 10 batches of salsa, 10 units of salsa. Oh, we're short on spice leaf. We'll have to go harvest more spice leaf before we can do this. But it gathered all the rest of the ingredients and told us whether we had enough and so forth, and auto-produce as necessary. Let's move on. Residential Hall 1. Blue carpet. This is depressingly the same design. Whoops. Incomplete. Incomplete room. Yeah, we'll ignore that and go in here. It's the same design that we saw back on Venus. Very compact. Designed to serve the needs of a single person, giving them a good deal of storage and so forth, and they have their own private facilities. But yeah, it's otherwise, there's a replicator in the hallway. You're not really expected to spend that much time in your room, More likely to be down at the Commons. Residential Hall 02. Same basic thing, except the rooms are orange and light blue here. So you have a choice of color. It's kind of like a like a budget motel. Or almost like a coffin motel. It's very compact. Oh yes, we do get meteor strikes here. And then we come to Residential Hall 3, the group residence. We can accommodate a polycule of up to 8. We are assuming a polycule and a certain degree of physical intimacy in the design of the place. It is designed as a group residence. It is also the nicest place on Mercury. It has its own private game room. This couch big enough to seat 3 people. Replicator, so that you can grab your snacks without having to leave the room. A front parlor for visitors. Receiving room, done up in fairly bright, cheery colors with some plants sitting out. By the way, most of the light in this room is in fact coming from these lamps. That and a little spill from the arc lamp. There's a dining room. Big enough to seat 12 people, yes. We can expect up to 4 guests. We can accommodate up to 4 guests for dinner. Replicator and various sideboards and storage. We really don't expect anybody to do a lot of cooking around here. It's like in Star Trek, cooking is a hobby and an art form, but it's not an occupation. Nobody does it all. Nobody spends all their time doing just that. Some decoration around here. The showers. Polished diorite brought in from Earth. Fancy. The hygiene facilities. There is in fact a door, and you do get privacy in the stall. Because, you know. Washing machines. There's 2 on either side, because if there's not 4, we're going to have fights. Even so, that's only, you still got to take turns. Same with the sinks. But, you know, you get used to it. One thing you don't have to take turns with is sleeping and personal item storage. There is an expectation that nobody is spending much time in here. You come in here to put away stuff, to get stuff, and to sack out in a cryo tube. And otherwise, you are not in this room. You're out in the living space. Oh. And that brings us to the end of Mercury. We have established a reasonably comfortable living place, assuming that the ambient temperature control and the air systems hold up. We've done what we can to make it comfortable, as dangerous as it is being here. Now we still have one more inner system stop to make, and then we are going to be heading outward. So next video will be the high atmosphere research station at Venus. Don't expect much. And then we'll go out to the asteroids, where the expansion really starts to take off. Till then, safe journeys, space fans, wherever you may be. I'm the wandering beekeeper who can't pronounce his own name.